but I would say that probably, the bunker buster bombs were designed with Iran in mind during the Obama administration. But I think the Iranians are also designed and redesigned further with the bunker buster bombs in mind as well. So it's almost like an arms race between the bunkers and the bunker busters.
Like a literal race to the bottom.
Right. It's a literal race to the bottom. And the reality is that we won't know until you have inspectors that can go in there, go inside. And then there are two issues. Did you destroy the site, or did you destroy the site and the equipment in it?
Right.
Did they take out all their equipment and, okay, this was a really valuable underground, facility that they had spent hundreds of, let's say, millions of dollars building. Okay, that's gone. But did they get to take out all of their enriched uranium, all of their machinery, all of their valuable centrifuges? Because that's a bigger question than whether just the site was impacted.
Right. It's the underlying infrastructure and the question of how quickly could they rebuild again. That is the question.
But my sense is that, it's not that necessarily that the bunker buster bombs were duds or this site was particularly well built. It's that the Iranians have had a long time to think and plan for this moment. So ever since Trump was getting elected, they knew that war is a potentiality. Okay, maybe they miscalculated the moment Israel started the war, but it doesn't mean that they hadn't months to think that this possibly may happen.
Right.
I think
everyone knew everything was coming, down to Qatar and the Iranian strikes. Everyone knew everything was coming. It's kind of it really is a theater of war in some ways.
From here on, it's going to be very tempting for them to say, we need a bomb, not for offensive purposes, but because it's the ultimate deterrent.
Just to recap for the audience, you're saying your understanding of the Iranian grand strategy here, the Iranian nuclear program was intended as leverage to bring the Americans to the table, not as deterrent necessarily for any kind of foreign intervention. But now those incentives have changed as they have seen actual war in a way that we have not seen in this region.
Right. And in fact, even among Iranian people, irrespective of whether they're pro-regime, anti-regime, secular or not, this is becoming a stronger argument. Because even if it's somebody like yourself, myself, sitting there, they live in Iran, they don't like their government, but they don't like to be bombed. And they say, basically, this can't happen again. And if it means that you need to have nuclear deterrence to prevent me to have to escape Tehran or be told by President Trump that you need to evacuate your city right away, if avoiding that scenario means that Iran should be nuclear, then, that's becoming a kind of conversation that I hadn't seen before this attack in the public domain. I think, first of all, the read is that Iran lost this war. I think that's much more the Western narrative than necessarily the way they see it, or the way that Iranians see it. They see it that they went against the world's greatest superpower and the most advanced military in the Middle East, and they held their own. The military didn't collapse. They have most of the nuclear things intact. They're still standing, and they actually forced a ceasefire in Israel. I mean, they don't need to prove that. Just listen to President Trump and Steve Bannon. They're making the case that Israel was getting a beating. The Iranians will have a lot of questions about why were we at war, how the war was conducted, and where do we go from here. But there is not a crisis of leadership in a sense, right? I mean, this is much more the regime change narrative abroad, and this expectation that the whole military must be angry with them, saying the conduct of the war is failing, we should take over. That's not the case. Then they would say, there's going to be tens of thousands of Iranians on the street, and the IRGC will feel compelled to stage a coup, either to lead the people to something better or to put them in prison and shut it down. That's not happening either. I mean, you have a picture today, which is the commander of the Quds Force, which was reputed to actually have been assassinated by Israel, is walking in the middle of the crowd in Tehran in the celebrations of the end of the war and Iran's victory. That doesn't give you a sense that these guys feel humiliated, they need to take
آنچه در مورد ما میگویند